Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero in X-Force, and it is October 11th, 2011, and today is Tuesday. This is my second posting of my two stacks of the DC relaunch of the New 52. My first video were the for sure keeps, the ones I was keeping indefinitely. This next stack here are my question mark titles. These are titles that I like for now, but for one reason or another, having too many comics, trying to cut back, also not sure where the direction is going to go. These are titles that I'm going to be getting for now, but I'm definitely keeping my eye on, and I might drop at any moment. I would also like to say that there is a key comic that is missing from both my stacks here, and that is Animal Man. Animal Man I wasn't able to pick up when it first came out, and I hadn't picked it up yet. So 2 issues have come out. I've heard nothing but fantastic things. Some of my favorite reviewers like Ghost Critic and many others absolutely love Animal Man. So I definitely want to pick it up. So I think, Mangione and a lot of other people have said Animal Man's definitely a must get. So I am picking up Animal Man 1 and 2. I'm getting it online. I have to wait for them to come through the mail. So I'm not sure which side it's going to be on. From how good I hear that Animal Man is, it might be in my first stack, but I don't know yet because I haven't read it. But it will definitely be in one of these 2 stacks, unless for some crazy reason I end up not liking it. So just noting, Animal Man is not in here, but it will be. So first up here for my second stack of question mark ones I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep. And number 1 here is Green Lantern. Now, why is this not in my first stack? Well, I've never really gotten Green Lantern before. I've read very few single titles, only have read like all the Brightest Day and the Blackest Night limited runs, as well as trades. So I was very excited and I was on board here. But when I'm thinking about dropping titles, it would be one of the easier ones for me to drop, because I'm not invested the way I'm invested in like, for instance, the Bat Family comics. So I knew I wasn't going to get all 4 of the Green Lanterns, but I definitely wanted to try at least a couple, and the ones I did try I did like. And of those 3 that I tried, I haven't tried the Green Lantern Corps yet, but of the 3 that I tried, there was 2 that I liked quite a bit. So here, Green Lantern is definitely on my watch list. It easily could slip into my first keep indefinitely pile, and for more than one reason. Definitely because of Jeff Johns' writing, also because I've never truly collected Green Lantern in single form before, and I really liked this first issue. Great artwork, good writing, very good writing. And now the continuity is still intact, so that makes me a bit hesitant. Like, well, there's so much backstory. I guess it's something I could eventually go back and read all the trades, which I do want to. But then I think to myself, well, if I'm going to go back and read all the trades, maybe I shouldn't pick this up at all and just keep on picking up the trades. So that's a good argument for dropping this book. But for now, I have it on my second tier list, the ones I'm keeping an eye on. And next up here are Red Lanterns. Now, this is a brand new comic. They've never had Red Lanterns ongoing before. I thought it was a really nice companion with Green Lantern, which is another reason why it's in this list and not the first. If I drop the Green Lantern book, I will also drop the Red Lantern book. Same goes for if I keep Green Lantern, I will also probably be keeping Red Lanterns. I think they go good together. They're not connected. They might have a crossover in the future, but for now, it's not like they connect in any way except for the same universe and characters that go back and forth. But I kind of hate it when you read, like, let's say I read all 4 Green Lantern titles, right? And let's say they had the same character in 3 of the 4 books. So you have these 4 stories going on, and then you have the same character in all 3 of these books and doing different things. I really don't like that, and they do that often when they have characters in a bunch of different titles. It's like, how can Wolverine be over here when Wolverine's over here? Or I don't understand. Here, Hal Jordan's doing this, but in Green Lantern Corps is doing this. So I thought these two titles would be great to get because you probably wouldn't have too much of that. Also, I absolutely love the artwork, and I could just drop it, right? Because I'm not invested in the characters yet. I don't really know too much about the Red Lanterns. But I really like this issue. It's definitely a setup. It's good for people who don't know much about the Red Lanterns. It's definitely an introduction title. But what's really keeping this is the artwork's absolutely beautiful. Just like the cover here, inside is the kind of artwork I love in comics. So for now, I'm at least doing the first story arc. Next up here is Swamp Thing. Now here's a big one. This one was almost in my first pile. I love Scott Snyder, and I assume this would be in my other pile. The only reason why it's in the question mark pile is because it's really early on. There's a lot going on here, and this could be a book that I may prefer to pick up in trade. When I'm making my cuts and I'm trying to pick up a lot less in a month, this could be a title I could argue, you know what, this is one of the Scott Snyder titles that I could pick up on trade. I can still read the story, but I could read it from beginning to end instead of going issue to issue. Some things Scott Snyder, I feel, is best read. Sometimes he's best read from beginning to end, because his full stories are all so rich that sometimes it's better to read that way. So I could collect them and not read them, or I could just pick up the trade. So that's why it's in this pile. But it's definitely one I'm reading one way or another, and it easily can slip into my permanent pile. And that goes the same for this next book. I really like Demon Knights. I like that it's fresh. I like that its take is different. It's the only DC book that's in this period piece world of DC. This is a very fresh and unique comic book, and there's really nothing else DC is producing that's anything like Demon Knight. For that alone, it should be in my first pile. But it's my question mark pile because it's too early. It's such a different book that it's fresh and I love it, but at the same time I can't dedicate to it until I can at least read the first story arc. So it easily could slip into my keep pile, but for now it has to prove itself. And that goes the same here for my next title, Justice League Dark. Just like Demon Knight, it's fresh, it's different. I love supernatural titles. This is a very supernatural book. It is so different than anything else that DC is doing. It's a team book. It's a magic book. It's a supernatural book. It's Justice League Dark. They've never done something like this before, and this team is incredible. The artwork is very good, and the storytelling is well done. Just like many of the titles that are in this pile, the only reason it's not in my keeper pile yet is because I have to argue with myself, is this a book that would be better picked up on trade? Also, DC is not as good as Marvel when it comes to putting out trades, so I have to think, will it be put out on trade? Like, for instance, Batgirl was a fantastic run, and I'm so glad I read every single issue of the last volume with Stephanie Brown. Yet I believe only 2, maybe 3 of the story arcs were ever put on trade. So that's a lot that anyone who wants to go back and read is missing. So, now when I have confidence that titles like Green Lantern and probably Swamp Thing will be put on permanent trade and always coming out on trade, as long as Scott Snyder's writing this one and as long as Jeff Johns reading that one, probably Green Lantern always. Green Lantern's kind of like Iron Man, will always come out on trade. But what about these two titles? Will these two titles come out on trade after the first story arc? Probably the first story arc, yeah, but maybe not continuing after that. So if I like the books, I may not want to rely on the trades coming out for all of the runs. So that would be in my decision making. Next one here is Batwing. I love this title. I love the first 2 issues. The only reason it's not in my my keeper pile is because, well, I have so many Bat books, and if I was dropping one Bat book, obviously Dark Knight I never picked up, so I'm not going to pick that one up. Maybe on trades, but it seems to be the one that if I wasn't going to pick up, I shouldn't pick up anyway. This would be the other one, just because all the other Bat books are so strong that even though this is a very strong title and it's a very interesting new hero, it's one that I keep my eye on, because if I have to drop a book and I want to try and keep my pile diverse and not have so many Bat books, this would be one that would be dropped. But not because I don't like it or love it, and I'm definitely picking it up for now. It's just in my question mark pile. And that's even more so for this next title, another title that they haven't done before. They may have done Catwoman before, but I haven't read an ongoing. I know there's plenty of miniseries. But this is a great take on Catwoman. First of all, it's written by one of my favorite writers, Judd Winnick. The artwork by March is absolutely gorgeous, and it's definitely a title that got me from the word go. This, like Aquaman, surprised me. At the same time, I knew and hoped it was going to be good. So the only reason it's in this pile, and easily, like some of the others, slip into my permanent pile, just because it needs to prove itself. After the first story arc, if I feel it's going to keep on going in a direction that I like, then I'm definitely keeping it. But it's a new title. It must prove itself first. Again, another title here with the same answers of why it's in this and not the other list. I'm keeping it for now, but if I have to make cuts and it doesn't keep on getting stronger, then even though I love Jason Todd, I love Red Hood, I like Arsenal / Red Arrow, and I really like Starfire / Quarry, and I like this artwork, and I think the writing was funny. It was, it's definitely a bit of a guilty pleasure. It's a bit popcorny, but sometimes it's kind of nice. It's fun. So Red Hood is definitely one I'm keeping my eye on, but again, like the others, it has to prove itself. Now here's one I actually almost dropped. I like Teen Titans. I like the writing. I actually like the artwork. I do not like the covers, but that's something that shouldn't be a factor at all when you're picking your book. But here are the question marks, just like some of the others. Will this be one that would better be picked up on trade? Because if this is better to be picked up on trade, then I should absolutely pick it up on trade. Teen Titans has always been one of the titles that comes out on trade like often. I think I can get a lot of the runs, maybe even complete runs, on trade for Teen Titans, and I can get them inexpensively. So it's very possible this would be an easy book to follow on trade and possibly get the full run eventually. So that may be the reason why I cut it. Now, if I could get an indefinite amount of books, if I was had absolutely all the money I would ever need, I would get all of these titles. But because I have to make choices, this is a title that I want to read for many reasons. I like Teen Titans. I like the group, mainly for Red Robin. This character, Red Robin, is one I've read from the entire last volume. And Tim Drake is a character that I've always liked, and I definitely want to keep on reading. So Tim Drake really keeps this in the loop for me. I want to read Tim Drake, but I don't know. We'll see. Here next is Superman. I really like this issue. I liked it quite a bit. I just have to make cuts, so I'm afraid that a lot of my super books are in the question mark pile. Action, I got Action, but it's a lot harder for me to cut a lot of my Bat books than it is for my Superman books. Also, I think Superman's another title that I could easily keep up by reading trades. But for now, I'm going to keep my eye on it. but if I have to make cuts, it's possible Superman might be on there. But if I'm going to be getting 2 Superman books, this one would be the second one. Superboy, also in this question mark pile. I like Superboy. I really like the artwork. I like the direction it's going. Here's a question mark though for me. These 2 titles, they both have Superboy in them, and the origins of Superboy might be conflicting. What they're doing here in Teen Titans is very similar to where Superboy is here, with some slight differences. I read both of these like back to back, pretty much back to back, and you have the same characters, you have the same woman, you have the same organization that's made and the clone of Superboy. A lot of those things are very consistent. It's just how Superboy is used is a little bit different. Now, I won't really know how different they're going to be unless I probably read the first story arc of both. But if they conflict, I don't like that. So then if that was the case, I would choose one over the other so that I'm not getting these conflicting Superboy stories. But I like both titles, but it's possible they might end up pushing one or the other out. Next up here is Supergirl. I like the artwork. I like Supergirl. I read some really good runs of the last volume of Supergirl. This is a very different Supergirl, and I think that's got me interested because she's got an attitude, and I guess they're going to go a different direction with her. I definitely like the new costume. I like that this is an origin tale. It's taking Supergirl as soon as she arrives on Earth and what happens from there. Even though I really love the Michael Turner version of the Supergirl origin, I would like to see it done again and, in a different way. So that's got me interested. I think I'm definitely picking up issue 2, but we'll see how far I go after that. And last but not least, Stormwatch. I kind of already canceled this from my saver. Many people will wonder why. It's just because I have so many books and I gotta make so many choices. I'm hoping Stormwatch will be one that will be very easy to pick up on trade. This is a popular title. Everyone's getting it. So it might be really hard for it not to be in my saver to pick up extras. It's possible that there won't be any extras, even though I pick up on Wednesdays. So if that's the case, I'll just have to buck up and not get in anymore. But if they have extras, it's going to be one I will probably keep on getting until I can't get them because there are no extras. I do like after the second issue where they're going, and I'm definitely excited to see Apollo Unleashed here. Again, I've heard already that they're having a relationship develop between Apollo and Midnighter. This is no surprise, but there were a lot of people questioning if they were going to do that, and they absolutely are doing that. And I guess they've never met before, so they're kind of restarting their relationship. So that's pretty cool. So yes, those are my titles that are question marks, but I will be making cuts from this pile now. I can't keep all these comics, that's way too many, and I do plan on adding new titles in the future. I'm sure there'll be plenty of titles from DC coming up, new #1s that I'll want to try. Right now I'm doing the limited run of Huntress, and I love the first issue, and I'm really excited about it. It's actually, if it was an ongoing, I would make cuts to make room for Huntress. That's how good it is. And one issue in, I have a really good feeling about this team, that they're really going to do a fantastic run with Huntress. But yes, this title, this stack of titles will probably be cut in half. It's going to be difficult. Like I said, I love all these titles, but I can't keep all of them. At the very least, I'm cutting this in half. But most of them, I'll see the first story arc. I might drop some of them beforehand. With that said, I'm curious on you guys, which issues you're for sure keeping. If you have a list of titles like I do that are ones that you're watching that you're not sure about, but you will keep on getting for now. And curious what you guys think of my list. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.